Hello, and welcome to Dave's Bonsai Expo 2025. My name is Wally, and my channel on YouTube is called Natural State Bonsai. I'm from Central Arkansas, and I'm in plant zone 7B/8A, which means that our weather can go anywhere from extremely hot to extremely cold, and sometimes this can even occur within a 24-hour period. Today, I'm going to give you a brief tour of my benches, which includes over 200 trees. Now, what I consider a tree is anything that's in a pot and sitting on my bench, and that can include trees from various stages of development, from seedlings to cuttings to full-blown trees, some that have even been styled a little bit by me. But before we head over to the benches, I'd like to showcase just a few of my favorite trees and give you a little bit of background on each one. And with that said, let's go do it. Okay, so I thought I would show you some of my favorite trees here. These first three are all red maples, and all of them came out of my yard when they were probably only an inch to an inch and a half tall. And I've had them since 2020, so I've had them for about 5 years. And so we'll take a close-up here of what they look like so far. I haven't done a lot of work on these. I mean, I did dress up the soil a little bit so it would look okay on camera, but other than that, I haven't done a whole lot with these. And this is really my favorite one of the three, and this was the first one that I pulled out of the ground, and this would have been in June of 2020. And I really like this maple right here. Next, we have this ginkgo biloba, compliments of Dave Harding, and he sent this out to me so that we could feature it into the Ginkgo Fest 2025, and it has really come along. I put a little bit of movement in it, put it in a pot, and it's done really, really well. Next to that, I have a Cypress. I don't know exactly what kind it is. It's some sort of, the first name is Golden. Other than that, I don't know exactly what it is, but I do like it in that blue pot. And these last two are Japanese maples. Now this clump right here came from my mother-in-law's house, and these had fallen off of the tree and were growing all around the tree, and they were all approximately about an inch tall. And so what I did is I bound them up, put them in a clump, and these are probably 3.5 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this is another Japanese maple that I have. I think I did buy this one, and you can see it does have some movement in it that came probably with the tree originally. My guess is this is probably 6 to 7 years old. And so with that, these are some of my maples and some of the other trees. I'm going to show you my elms now. Okay, these are my elms, Chinese elms actually. And this is a work in progress. And so this has been going on for probably 2 years. And so what I've done is I've cut this one back way, way back. And I'm trying to get a large trunk on it and just develop the ramification and the branch structures on that. So at any rate, that's this is a Chinese elm. And then next to that, we have a cork bark Chinese elm. And as you can see, it's doing pretty well. I like what it's done so far. I like the shohin trees quite a bit. I don't like the larger trees, although I do have some, and you'll see those later in the video. Here's another cork bark elm, and you can see that I've got my little mud bin in there and everything. And these trees are a lot of fun. They grow very easily and they root very easily. So getting cuttings off of them, it's very easy to propagate. Now these are my two favorite elms that I have. The first one here is a Seiju elm, and I've had it for a little over a year. And it's actually a air layer from one of the gentlemen from our bonsai club. And these things, you have to really stay on them to keep them well pruned and everything. So, but anyway, I really like the way this is turning out right now. And then I get over to this one here, and this is my all-time favorite Chinese elm. This is the one that I bought in June of 2020. And you'll see here what it looked like back in June of 2020. And it's got some great branch structure. I love the way that it looks. And I just really enjoyed working on this Chinese elm for the last 5 years. And now we have a couple of my bigger trees that I'm going to go over. Um, a couple of bald cypresses. I actually have about 20 or 25 bald cypresses. And you can see that this one here is my biggest one. And I bought this one again in 2020. So I've had it for 5 years. I haven't done a whole lot with it this year, but I do plan on working on it a little bit more. I pruned it a little bit for this video, but other than that, I haven't done anything with it this year. And then I go to this one here, and I decided to put it in a flat pot just because I wanted to see how the root structure would form inside of this flat pot. And it's a smaller tree. And this one was actually grown from a seed probably about 3 years ago. I put a little bit of movement in it, and just very little, very subtle. And I'm letting it grow up, and then I'm going to chop this back a little bit, probably this fall at any rate. So that's a couple of my fall cypresses. Like I said, I have about 20 of them, or maybe even 25. I'll have to count them to see. You'll see those later in the video. And then the next thing I want to show you is my, I guess you call it a penjing, I don't know. I've got some sort of juniper or eastern red cedar. I have a hard time figuring out which one's which. And you can see I've got my little mud man in there, and I've got that lava rock of some sort. And so I've really enjoyed taking care of this one here and keeping the moss green on it and everything. And then I did another one in another flat pot, and this is a cork bark elm. Of course, you know I like the elms, and what I'm showing here is another pinching, basically, with some more lava rock in it, and I've really enjoyed doing those. And here we have a Barbados cherry. It's coming along nicely. It's a small shohin. And finally, I'll give you a view of some of my favorite conifers, cypresses, junipers. And so we'll start down here at this end. And this is just a Hinoki cypress, I believe. And I got that from Bonsai. And put a little bit of deadwood with it. Looks pretty nice. I believe I even got this one from Bonsai. And I probably had this one 3 or 4 years. And so these two from Bonsai. This one here I got at Lowe's. It's just an arborvitae. And I just threw it in a pot and did some pruning on it a couple of years ago and just been letting it grow. Here's another, this is a juniper. And I put it in this, I really like this pot, even though it's dirty. I really like this pot and that juniper. And then finally, I've got this spruce. And I got this from my good friend, pretty well known, and just an outstanding bonsai artist from Ron Smith up in Northwest Arkansas. And this is a spruce that he gave me back earlier this year. And I just love this thing. It does need to be repotted at some point because the soil is pretty compact. But so what you see here is some of my favorite trees. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a quick overview of my entire bench area. And so that's to come now. Okay, we're going to start on the north end of my property, and this is just going to be a really quick overview of my benches. Some of these trees you see will be repeats from my favorites, but I put them back on the benches where I usually keep them at. So this is my elm corner. Most of my elms are in this corner right here. You can see some of my favorite ones there, several of my favorite ones. And over here, I've got some more elms. I've got some rosemary I'm experimenting with. Some more on a top shelf here. And then this is my conifer bench. I've got some black pines. Obviously a black pine right there. Another black pine. Another black pine. Another black pine. All of those black pines came from Bonsai. And I've had them, some of them I've had for 4 or 5 years. There's a mugo pine that I've got from Ron Smith up in Northwest Arkansas. There's a loblolly pine that I actually dug up out of the ground. Here's that blue spruce that Ron Smith gave me. And so this is this side of my pines and conifers. If we go over here to this side here, you can see I've got some more eastern red cedars, some yews, another spruce on this side right there. And then up here, I've got something there I got at a store, a gas station, some more cypresses and stuff like that, some more cypresses. Down here, I've got my penjings that I showed earlier. And then I've got some more smaller trees that I'm working on here. On this side here, I've got my maples. And also I've got my tamarins. I got 3 tamarins that 2 of them came from seed. I've got a bougainvillea there and a gardenia. Let's see, some trident maples, ficus, some more maples, Japanese maples. I keep those back here so that I don't get too much leaf burned. This side here, I've got a Brazilian rain tree and a maple, and some more of my trees that were my favorites that are there. On this side here, I've got some more seedlings that I'm working on. A couple of ginkgos there, one from seed that Dave Harding gave me, and then the other is the one that I showed you earlier. Some ficuses. All of these right here are going to be given away at our next bonsai meeting here in Arkansas. This is on the south end of the property, and these are my miscellaneous trees. Got an eastern red cedar there. Both of these are Yamadoris that I dug up. They're winged elms. There's a butterfly tree, a box elder, a bunch of willows, some cuttings that I put in that bushel pot right there, a redbud, hawthorn, a couple of oaks, another box elder, and then over here some bigger trees. I've got another box elder. I got an oak that's got a twisty trunk on it that I air layered in the woods and went and got it a year later. Here's a Chinese privet. I think that's called a swamp oak right here. And crabapple, cranapple, something like that. Another willow. All of my willows, most of my willows that are just plain willows come from this tree right here that I've had for about 5 years. This is another conglomeration of trees, mixed trees and everything. I've got anything you can think of here. I've got Chinese privets, got some boxwoods back there, got some Clark crepe myrtles, got a couple of hawthorns that were air layered, got a juniper, got another elm that I'm trying to get healthy again. Got some dawn redwoods here. I've got about 8 or 10 dawn redwoods. I've even done some roses and another crepe myrtle here. There's a juniper. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with that. And then I've got another eastern red cedar right there. This is my 7th bench. This houses all of my bald cypresses. A couple of you saw earlier. There's one right there. And I've got some smaller ones in there. And most of these are from cuttings that I've done. A couple of the bigger ones I did buy or was given to me. But for the most part, there's a dawn redwood in there, by the way. For the most part, these are ones that I've made from cuttings. So anyway, that's my 7th bench. So I have 7 benches right now so far. And finally, I have my portulacarias. And I've got about 50 of these. Most of them are Frank Yi ports, which is the cork bark type portulacarias. So there's a few of them there. There's a few more there. A couple more there. There's some more there. more here, more down there, and more right there. And that's about it for my portulacarias. And these are the last of the ports right here. And with that, those are all my benches.